it flips every time the first time, you know? Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Today's nonsense is in Historic Brawl. You heard me right, folks. We are doing a little brawling, and we are full-on meme. No, this is not a new Tier 1 Historic Brawl Commander situation. This is because some of the wonderful folks in the community were like, man, John, I'd really like to see, you know, something that's a full meme that you can maybe make something happen with. And I'm like, okay. So here's the thing. Spiders are not good on the client for the most part. And we're playing even a bunch of the bad ones. So Notvold Recluse, 3 mana 4/2 reach, not doing a whole lot. You know, the Canopy Spider, just a vanilla, well, French vanilla, 2 mana 1/3 reach. Like these are not all stars, right? But I will tell you, Ishkana Broodmother is a very, very strong Magic card. Do not sleep on this card. First of all, a 3/5 reach for 4 is honestly just fine. That's actually a very solid stats. Giving other spiders you control +1/+2 is also very reasonable. The extra toughness ends up mattering a lot because a lot of the time the spiders already have a little extra toughness. So a 1/3 becoming a 2/5, that's like very difficult to get through. And the reach means you're not able to get through. The other thing is pay 2 mana, exile 2 cards from your graveyard, draft a card from Ishkana Broodmother Spellbook means you get to pick from a bunch of, you know, for the most part, mediocre spiders. But the card flow is never ending, and they are, you know, in large part spiders, right? You get to pick some spiders, which, again, with the Spidery Lord effect, is actually quite strong. The good news, folks, and the reason you might consider spending your wildcards and building this or something similar to this, is that it doesn't end up facing off against most of the top-tier Historic Brawl commanders. You know, you're not going to see Golos and things like that very often. Occasionally, because matchmaking stuff. But for the most part, you're going to be facing off against other things. So how about just some of the other hits, folks? What else did I put in here besides things that had spider text on them? Well, a bunch of outcast or changelings, right? The shapeshifters, because they're all spiders as well. So giving a little more power and toughness to things like Realmwalkers and all that kind of thing, quite strong. Endling, notably, is a shapeshifter, right? So getting Undying, things like that, right? Being able to trade, getting Death Touch and Undying to trade in favor is strong, right? The Changeling Outcast can't be blocked, means once you get a Lord down, it gets big in a hurry, right? Those sorts of things, and being unblockable can really cause your opponents to have some trouble. As far as a lot of the rest of it, you know, we have a little bit of ramp onto Cold Steel Hearts, Arcane Signet stuff you're probably familiar with in the format. We're also taking advantage of some generically strong green-black cards like Binding the Old Gods, Gitrog, Horror of Zava, and Gitrog Monster. We're also doing just a little bit of filling our graveyard, and admittedly, we went very gentle on this self-milling package. I think it's a thing you could lean into. Ishkana's activated ability is very, very strong. We went very light on it, and again, we're not going to go every single card, but you know, we do have a little bit of that, some things like Underrealm Liches, things like that. So, on the whole, kind of a fun-looking deck. So let's take it out for a spin and see if we can get some wins. All right, folks, here we are up against Wendigo. Good luck, Wendigo. And, I mean, you know, don't have a whole lot of spiders here, but we have interaction, and our opponent's playing Falco Spara. Not quite sure what to expect out of this commander, actually. I haven't seen it before, but oh, crud. I know Lotus Cobra's a scary one. And since they're on Falco Spara, the counters and all that stuff, we just figure, what the heck, let's snap off this removal spell on something with no counters on it right away. Just get it out of the hand there. We do want to keep hitting our land drops. We have Swamp on top. We'll keep it. You know, folks, we have the Drider in our hand. We have Garrett Cursed Huntsman, Gitrog Monster, and of course Ishkana itself. Like, we have some pretty powerful top-end stuff going on here, and keeping land drops seems like a good thing. Oh, crud, I was terrified they were going to counterspell our Ishkana. I was like, oh, no, but it just turns out it was a Shamble Shark. Shamble Shark is okay with me, folks. They do go with Falco Spara for the turn, though, and we're trying to decide what direction to go. We end up going with Drider. That's right, folks. Drider, normally a 4-3, so honestly the stats are underwhelming. But with the Ishkana buff being a 5-5 reach, it kind of is a little scary here, right? So opponent elects to take it all. Drider then creates a 2-1 menace reach, but of course with the Ishkana buff is a 3-3 menace reach. We make a pair of puppies, and suddenly Wendigo is probably thinking, yeah, well, you hit us, we're going to strike back hard. I mean, yes, but, you know, we're doing it, folks. We are doing it. Oh, crud. Mothra, that suddenly is not great. But wait, just Shamble Shark? There's no way that's right. That's a mistake. Right now, my mind is just whirring. Yeah, I know, you get your Shamble Shark back. That's great. But my mind is just whirring. We get to ultimate here, and I'm sitting here thinking about all the different things we could do or should do. And I'm like, wow, let's just get another Glowstone Recluse on it. That's wrong. Our opponent's at 17, and we have all this power and trampling. Again, my mind... not getting fully behind it. Opponent scoops it up anyway, but we were supposed to be mutating and then Infernal Grasping. It turns out it didn't matter, but jeez. Opponent giving us that one. All right, folks. Up against Gynolators. Good luck, Gynolators. And it's Corvold the Fakers King. Well, you know, earlier I was talking about not facing off against top-tier commanders. Well, you know, you do occasionally see them, and Corvold is one of the best. This sacrificing is generally strong, you know, in the abstract, right? But especially in matchups where you're moving slowly, so the sacrifice deck has time to get all their pieces together and get set up, they are really strong. And naturally, we're not going to be moving very quickly. So, was considering Bloodchief's Thirst and Sporeweb Weaver, you know, but elected to hold on to it. Glad we did, because that Mayhem Devil is arguably the scariest card in their deck. We've got this Birthing Boughs, and of course, folks, that is an artifact that can give us shapeshifters. It's kind of expensive, though, and I was just sitting there thinking, man, this is just not overly powerful, right? The power level on Birthing Boughs kind of low, and was kind of regretting having it in our hand here, or in the deck, much less in our hand currently. But oh boy, the opponent untaps, goes with Corvold Fakers King, sacrifices one of those tiny little 1/1s. Ay. Okay, well, we get a swamp. It's untapped. We do go with the Birthing Boughs. Realmwalker comes down. We name Spider. And it's a Hero's Downfall on top. Well, mana working out awkwardly here. You know, the Birthing Boughs requires 4 mana to activate. Oh no, Body Dropper. Okay. Not good news. Corvold the Fakers King crashes in, gets to sacrifice the thing. It's the meaningless Scoot Swarm token, not the copy of Scoot Swarm. Corvold grows. Brood Weaver jumps in front. We take our beats. Or we allow our creature to die, and our opponent keeps developing their board. We don't have... Oh, no. Forest on top. Feels like the game's starting to get away with us, or from us. This Birthing Boughs, again, requiring 4 to activate. Not feeling great about that. Masked Vandal, going to exile our own creature to get rid of their food token. We don't want them having extra things to sacrifice, but darn it, their board is just looking better than our board. They also have 4 cards in hand. We have none. The Broodmaster, of course, or Broodmother, still in the command zone. And Bastion Remembrance. Good heavens. The hits just keep coming. All right. All right. Hey, here we go. All right. Let the comeback commence. Guardian Gladewalker comes off the top. And a land. But we do get Ishkana. Ishkana pumping this team. Suddenly, we feel like there's an outside chance, right? The counter goes on the Sporeweb Weaver, so we can start going wide as well. We have to address all these Scoot Swarms. We have to address the Bastion Remembrance. We have to address the Bodies Dropper. We have to address the Corvold. You know, I'm not saying any of that's likely, but I'm saying there's a chance. So our opponent passes the turn back. Oh boy, a Liliana on top's nice. So we Ishkana, exile a couple of things from our bin. We don't really care about those anyway. None of this is very exciting, but you can just get multiple bodies if we go with the Twin Silk Spider. So we do that. With the Ishkanah Broodmother buff, they, instead of being 1/2s, are 2/4s. Okay. Our opponent, using Priest of Forgotten Gods, sacrificing Scoot Swarm tokens. We have to give up on the Guardian Gladewalker. I mean, it was just 2/3 anyway, so it wasn't a big deal. We're actually kind of happy they sacrificed the Scoot Swarms, because those obviously were another one of those things that could get out of control. So it is what it is. But we are just so far behind on board now. Our opponent has 8 cards in hand, folks. Count them. 8 cards in hand. They can draw another card with Priest of Forgotten Gods at any given moment. The Body Dropper is threatening. The Corvold is threatening. The Scoot Swarm is threatening. I'm feeling a little bit behind, you know? Opponent very carefully tapping. Goes with Witch's Oven. Oh, no. Okay. The Goose. Thinking about it. Yeah. And... okay, Goose taps for a mana to sacrifice a food. Corvold draws a card. Our opponent taking their sweet, sweet time here. We just want to try and get to this Liliana. No! They go after our Ishkana with targeted removal. I mean, these things aren't bad, but they're not good either. We go with Prey Upon. Send the Ishkana back to the command zone. Thinking, you know, maybe we could remove something. Oh, no. They have their own Liliana. They sacrifice the 2/2, get in for 8, 9 damage, draw, I don't know, 40 cards. We jump in front of it with Twin Silk Spider. I'm beginning to question every decision I've ever made in my entire life. There's a Blex on top, which is an awesome card. The unfortunate thing about that is that it's not a spider, so Realmwalker won't allow us to cast it. We go with Prey Upon on the Sporeweb Weaver. I, at this point, recognize I've made a grievous error, because we should have played our own Liliana, because we knew they were going to activate in response. So we sacrifice a Masked Vandal, get a 1/1, gain a life, but our opponent gets to gain a life. We say, you know what? I've goofed. But even if I hadn't goofed, it wouldn't have mattered. So GG opponent, GG, you got us. All right, folks, here we are up against 7re47. Good luck, 7re47. This here looks fine. We've got all the different pieces of, you know, that we would want to put together to make a good functional hand here. We're unfortunately kind of up against Niv Mizzet Perun, which, while it may not be one of the most powerful commanders, is definitely a powerful commander. They slam it as foretold, and we're not happy about that. But we do take the opportunity to get Sporeweb Weaver onto the battlefield. It is not protection from blue, but it is hexproof from blue. So that's very, very relevant here. And it does give us an opportunity to do that before they get a counterspell, right? Agar the Freezing Flame comes down, and oh my goodness, that is terrifying. And they do show us Jwari Ruins, which does imply, at least, that they have some amount of counter magic. We use Beseju, who endures, to get rid of the As Foretold, because we don't want them being able to cast spells on everybody's turn. We're not thrilled about it, because it gets them closer to Niv-Mizzet. But you do what you do. So, Aether Spellbomb comes down. That's a bummer. Opponent gets in with Agar. Never has there been a more suspicious attack. I hold on, do a lot of considering here, because it is very possible they're just bluffing entirely, and they know that they're playing inside our head, so they do the thing. But we elect not to block. Rolls around to our turn. We don't have a land drop for the turn. Feeling bad, for sure. And we end up having to pass the turn back after they counterspell our Karn, Sign of Urza. Not where we want to be. Well, we decide, yep, okay, that we're just going to jump in front of the Agar, get whatever card out of their hand, because we're expecting this Niv-Mizzet to show up soon. And it's obviously an instant. It's obviously an instant. So this way we get 2 Sapperlings, which can kick the can down the road. So we're going to do that thing. Thank heavens. We do draw a land off the top, though. That is very, very, very good. So it's tapped land, which is unfortunate, but Ishkana Broodmother makes it to the battlefield. It does have reach, does have that built-in card advantage engine. Okay, opponent has the Stern Dismissal. Not thrilled about that. Take 1 from the Firebrand Archer. Delver Secrets, but they haven't done any scrying or anything, so it's unlikely to be flipping anytime soon. Our opponent spends the last card in their hand. It was Royal Eruption. Take a bunch of damage. We take it from the Agar with the Freezing Flame so that they don't draw any cards. We then slam Garruk, Cursed Huntsman. Couple of wolves. Come on down. Don't mind if I do. And Aether Spellbomb going to get activated to send one of those wolves away. Well, remember what I said about the Insectile Aberration not being a worry anytime soon? Of course, that's not true, folks, because it's not my Delver. It's someone else's Delver. And as long as it's someone else's Delver, it flips every time the first time, you know? Oh, well. It happens, it happens. But we do give our opponent a card because we want to save our Garruk. I think that's a fine thing to do in this case. We do get to Ishkana and Blex, though. And Ishkana, of course, being a spider, does get the opportunity to grow from Blex the Vexing Pest. And remember, Ishkana has reach. Niv-Mizzet joins the party, but none of these attacks look very good here. This is not great for them. And boom! Down comes Professor Onyx. That felt good. Get out of here, Niv-Mizzet. Unfortunately, our opponent does have... they're only 1 land away from being able to get it again. But we have both Professor Onyx and Garruk Cursed Huntsman down. So we're jamming in there for a million wolves. Get down the Universal Automaton, which is currently a 3/4. Okay, opponent does have another land drop. Niv-Mizzet joins the party. So we go up with Professor Onyx, trying to decide which ones to get. We elect to go with the Phyrexian Reclamation because we can get back the Obelisk Spider at any time. And then we go with Arasta of the Endless Web. Because remember, we get to make spiders every time somebody casts an instant then, right? Or sorcery. So then we charge in with a whole mess of wolves. Our opponent cannot ignore them any longer. Niv-Mizzet blocks, Agar blocks. Counters go on. Unfortunately, Agar the Freezing Flame does get to draw cards, so they get to clear out our some of our loyalty counters, but they kind of miscounted there a little bit and thought they were getting rid of the Garruk. They were not, so then they ended up jamming a little damage at our Professor Onyx, recognizing that that's the easier one to get rid of in this case. The opponent then also has Demon Bolt, which does create an Arasta creature, which is a 3/5. Making 3/5s for free is good. You heard it here first. Niv Mizzet, targeting our Blex, unfortunate. Agar the Freezing Flame draws a card. Niv Mizzet, able to do more damage, goes after our Professor Onyx. Not feeling great about those things, notably. But practical research, hold on. Our opponent's going at our face. Going to kill off the Blex, but we gain 4 life when they go after Blex. Starting to math. The math's starting to come together. Niv Mizzet goes at our face, goes at our face, goes at our face, because they didn't have enough to kill our Ishkana. We drop to 11. Yep. So we're just going to go ahead and grab our Blex back. And opponent's going to scoop it out. GG, Niv Mizzet Perun. GG. Yeah, baby. All right, folks, here we are up against Kelsey Sky. Our first hand, quite bad. Our second one, not so bad. So we end up keeping it. Go with a forest. We're looking at this Birthing Boughs again. Pretty unimpressed with it. But, you know, we do have a forest for the turn, a swamp for the turn, good old-fashioned do nothing until turn 3 when you slam a Phyrexian Arena. But fortunately, Kelsey Sky, who is on Agnes the Dragon's Lash, has also done nothing. Thank heavens. Opponent goes with Augur of Autumn, which is the one that lets you play things from the top of your library. Trying to decide if we want to kill it. We could go with the Brood Weaver or the Ishkana. You know, we just decide, you know what? How about we just get as much power and toughness onto the board as possible. It's both a Stonewall for if our opponent does jam their commander, but it's also a good attacker if they still decide to continue doing nothing. Agnes not able to effectively attack here because of our Ishkana. Metallic Mimic comes down. We name Spider. Feels good, man. Trying to decide if we want to, like, Maelstrom Pulse. Could have played the Birthing Boughs, but we're unlikely to activate it anyway. So we go with Canopy Spider. The deal is, with the Ishkana buff, and with the 1/1 counter from the Metallic Mimic, our 2-mana 1/3 is now a 2-mana 3/6, which we were just going over. Kind of a Stonewall against, you know, smaller creatures. Oh no, our opponent has Clear Shot. That's not good enough to kill our Ishkana. Oh, but that's because they have Master's Rebuke. So they're going to 2-for-1 themselves to get rid of our commander. It goes back over into the commander's place. Command zone, that's the word I was looking for. And Agnes hits our face. We drop to 18. Try to go ahead and make the best of our situation. We decide our opponent, since they're playing Agnes, which is it benefits hasty creatures, we're not expecting to see a lot of Planeswalkers anyway, so Bloodchief's Thirst, a little less mana efficient on most turns, and we're just not under that much pressure right now, so we elect to go that direction. It was tempting to go with a 3-drop and the Guardian Gladewalker, but honestly, it wasn't, it didn't feel like capitalizing. It felt like capitulating, you know, by giving up our better removal spell, the Maelstrom Pulse. Kelsey Sky, deep in the tank, and trying to decide what to do about their commander. I'm not sure if that means they have reanimation or if they just didn't realize they had priority. So we pass the turn back. It does end up going back to command zone like normal anyway. Does Agnes show right back up? It does not. Goreclaw, Terror of Kalsisma. That's a scary one, folks. That is a scary one. Okay. Oh no, they have another fight spell. Band together. And Augur of Autumn gets in. We drop to 16. Not great. Phyrexian Arena doing hero's work here. And trying to decide how to go about it. We go with Brood Weaver and Guardian Gladewalker this time because we felt like we needed all of the additional power and toughness on the board we could. Since our opponent has been brandishing all this removal, opponent slams Nyxbloom Ancient. Not ideal. But Agnes, not a great attacker here. Unless Goreclaw also attacks. But I think our opponent wanted to keep their Goreclaw around. So they just give us the turn right back. Thank you, opponent. Oh my goodness. Feel like I should send a thank you note. We Vraska Relic Seeker to kill their Nyxbloom Ancient. Play a Blooming Marsh because it's always a tap land. Of course, the Overgrown Tomb could be an untapped land should we choose to pay life for it. And send the turn right back. The Goreclaw is still kind of threatening, but it is what it is. Opponent plays Hydra's Growth on Agnes Dragon's Lash. Now becoming a 4/4 is a bit of a better attacker, right? So, Goreclaw, Terror of Calcisma, though, probably would still have to attack. They agree. All of it goes at our face, though. They're thinking, this Phyrexian Arena is doing some of our work. Let's just help it along, right? So we throw everybody in front of Goreclaw, hoping there isn't too much nasty stuff over there. Could be a... Oh, Unleashed Fury. Well, that kind of qualifies as some nasty stuff, but we're glad we made that decision. Drop to 7, drop to 6, draw a card for the turn. Trying to decide how to go about it. Hatchery Spider is tempting, but the Hydra's Growth is going to get out of control pretty quickly here. So we just go with land and Garrett Cursed Huntsman and Maelstrom Pulse. And then we go up, and our opponent kind of seeing the writing on the wall here and scoops them up. GG, Kelsey Sky, GG. All right, folks, we are back, and honestly, you saw what I saw. I played 4 games, we won 3, we lost 1. I played it a few times on the stream. Again, when I play Historic Brawl on the stream, it's with viewers, so we're always just there for a good time. We're not there, you know, to try and solve the meta of Historic Brawl. We're having a good time with friends, you know. But it's done pretty well there as well, so I really can't complain. As far as things I might change, yes, under no circumstances should you ever put Birthing Boughs in this deck. As much as I wanted it to be good. Oh, how about I just put it over here? Because we create the 2/2 Shapeshifters, which in theory sound good. Create a 2/2. It gets +1/+2. It should be a 3/4 pretty regularly. A 4 mana for a 3/4 repeatable every single turn. Sign me up, right? Yes. Sure. Should be good. There's just never the mana to activate it. If you're activating this, you've probably already lost, right? Masked Nexus feels a little bit different, though. Like, you know, when we've played it on stream and things, I didn't get to play it for any of these games, but 3 mana just kind of fits in the curve sometimes. 4 mana just does not seem to, so I would definitely look elsewhere besides that. As far as the other things, even the bad spiders are kind of good just because Ishkana is so good, so you do want to keep some number, or keep your spider changeling styles, you know, count relatively high, so I wouldn't cut too much of that. As far as what to replace this with, probably just, you know, some more removal or something. Realistically, you've got to sink 7 mana into this before you ever get anything. So you could even go another top end, just a fun of, or something like that. But would I recommend you build this deck? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I would. I would recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun, but, you know, obviously only if you're trying to play Historic Brawl for fun instead of trying to play Historic Brawl for wins or for crushing the meta or whatever, you know. That said, it has been a great time. I look forward to our next meeting, and you have a fantastic day.